Mom, why are you uninviting me from Thanksgiving? I asked. My mother sighed loudly. Sophia, look at yourself. You reek of machine oil. Your hands are disgusting, and you walk like a tired factory worker. Ashley is getting engaged that night. Tyler's parents are wealthy and sophisticated. How do you expect us to explain a daughter like you in the family photos? Just stay home. At least give your sister one perfect night. My father added coldly, You've always been the heavy one in this family. Don't ruin this for Ashley. I stayed silent. What they didn't know was that while they were ashamed of me, I had been quietly carrying their entire world on my shoulders for a long time. 5 days later, they stood in front of me with pale faces and shaking voices, desperately begging me not to sign a single document. Their perfect little lies came crashing down hard, right in front of the people they tried so desperately to impress. My name is Sophia Holden. I'm 34 years old. If you're already angry for me, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? Because what happened next? They never saw it coming. Let me take you back so you understand how we got here. The house at 127 Oakwood Drive was supposed to be our forever home. My parents bought it in June 1998, when I was 7 years old. I remember my father standing in the empty living room that first day, his arm around my mother's shoulders. "This is it, Patty," he said. "This is where we build our life." My mother cried happy tears. I remember thinking our house looked like a castle. 3 bedrooms, colonial blue siding, white picket fence, a maple tree in the front yard that turned gold every October. They put 20% down, $37,000, with help from my grandparents. The original mortgage was $148,000 at 7.5% interest. Their monthly payment was $1,035. For the first 10 years, they never missed a payment. Then the refinancing started. The first one happened in 2006, when I was 15. My parents pulled out $52,000 in equity. Kitchen remodel, $28,000. New deck, $12,000. Investments that failed within 6 months, $12,000. Their new mortgage jumped to $200,000. Monthly payment, $1,520. I remember hearing them fight about bills for the first time that year. The deck rotted within 5 years. The investments disappeared, but the debt stayed. The second refinance came in 2012. I was 21, living at home while attending trade school for maintenance technician certification. They pulled out $38,000 this time. 2 cars. My mother's Honda for $18,000. My father's Ford truck for $20,000. New mortgage, $238,000. My mother said it was basically free money. She said the house value kept going up, so they were just accessing what was already theirs. I started working part-time at the automotive factory that year, making $12 an hour. I noticed their spending habits never changed despite constant complaints about tight budgets. I moved out in 2013. I told them it was for independence. Really, I couldn't watch them spend money they didn't have anymore. The third refinance happened in 2019. My sister Ashley was 20, enrolled in community college. My parents pulled out $30,000, supposedly for her college fund. Community college cost $4,500 a year. The rest went to a European vacation for them, $12,000. New living room furniture, $8,000. And paying off credit card debt they'd accumulated, $5,500. Ashley posted on Instagram, "So blessed my parents are investing in my education. #family support. #grateful." Their mortgage was now $268,000. Monthly payment, $2,340. My father was 56. My mother was 54. They were approaching retirement age and their income was dropping. My father's hours at the car dealership were getting cut. They were using credit cards to cover the gap between income and lifestyle. Then came 2020. The pandemic hit. My father was laid off in March when the dealership closed permanently. He collected unemployment, $520 a week, until his pension kicked in 2 years later at $2,200 a month. My mother's hours got cut to part-time. She brought in $2,600 a month as a church bookkeeper. Combined income, $4,800 a month. Mortgage payment, $2,340. Math doesn't lie. By 2023, they were using credit cards to pay utilities. The credit card debt hit $38,000. They started missing mortgage payments. Not every month, just when something else came up. A car repair. Christmas gifts. My father's golf tournament entry fee. They thought they could catch up. They thought they had time. By March 2024, they hadn't made a full payment in 8 months. March 12th, 2024. I stopped by my parents' house on a Tuesday afternoon. Rare for me. I worked rotating shifts at the factory and usually only visited on Sundays when I wasn't too exhausted. They weren't home. Probably shopping, based on the new SUV in the driveway that I didn't recognize. I let myself in with the spare key I'd had since high school. I was going to leave a birthday card for my mother on the kitchen counter. That's when I saw the envelope. Large, Manila. Return address. First National Bank, Loss Mitigation Department. The words, Notice of Intent to Foreclose, were printed in red across the top. I shouldn't have opened it, but my hands were already moving. Your property at 127 Oakwood Drive, Maple Grove, Ohio, 43050 is in default. Total amount due, $18,720, representing 8 months of missed payments at $2,340 per month. Foreclosure proceedings will begin April 1st, 2024. Public auction scheduled June 18th, 2024. You have 30 days to cure the default or contact our loss mitigation department to discuss alternatives. I sat down at the kitchen table where we used to have Thanksgiving dinner when I was a kid. My hands were shaking. I pulled out my phone and opened the calculator app. $18,720 in arrears. Plus legal fees, probably $3,500. Plus back interest, maybe $1,200. Total, roughly $23,420 needed immediately to stop the foreclosure. I called my mother. She answered on the 4th ring. Sophia, is everything okay? Mom, I'm at the house. I saw the foreclosure notice. Silence. Then, we're working on it. Working on it how? You owe almost $24,000. The auction is in 3 months. My father took the phone. We don't want you worrying about this, Sophia. We're adults. We'll handle it. How? I asked. Dad, where will you get $20,000 in 3 months? More silence. We have time, he finally said. We're talking to the bank about options. What options? Loan modification, forbearance, something. We'll figure it out. I closed my eyes. Do you have savings? Your grandmother left us $8,500 last year. We used it for the furnace repair. Of course they had. What about Ashley? Can she help? Ashley has her own life. She's building her brand. We can't ask her to. She lives in your basement rent-free, I said. She could contribute something. This isn't her problem, my mother said in the background. It's not your problem either. We'll handle it. They hung up. I sat in that kitchen for another 20 minutes. Then I went home to my 450-square-foot garage apartment in Riverside, 12 miles away, and I did math. My savings account had $32,000. Years of overtime shifts, holiday double time, living cheap, eating meal prep, driving my 2009 Honda with 138,000 miles on it. 32,000. Not enough to pay their debt and buy the house, but maybe enough for a down payment if the bank would work with me. Over the next 2 weeks, I researched foreclosure alternatives, short sales, pre-foreclosure purchases, FHA loans. No, those require the buyer to live in the property. Conventional loans with 5% down. On March 30th, 2024, I called First National Bank's Loss Mitigation Department. I said I was calling about 127 Oakwood Drive. I asked if a family member could purchase the property before the auction. The representative said, "If a qualified buyer can close quickly and the sale price covers the outstanding debt, we can work with that. It's better for everyone than a public auction." I ran the numbers again. The house was appraised at $420,000. The bank would likely accept $265,000 to clear the debt and fees. Conventional loan with 5% down meant $13,250. Closing costs, roughly $8,500. Total upfront, $21,750. I had $32,000. I could do it. But if I told my parents I was buying their house, they would say no. Pride would kill them before foreclosure did. I got pre-approved for a conventional loan on April 8th, 2024. $251,750 at 5.2% interest. Monthly payment, $1,380 for 30 years. I provided pay stubs showing my $82,000 annual income from the factory, $64,000 base plus $18,000 in overtime. Proof of savings. Credit score, 768. The bank's short sale coordinator contacted my parents on April 15th. They received a letter stating that a buyer had made an offer on their property for $265,000, which would satisfy their debt. My mother called me that night, crying. "Someone wants to buy the house. The bank says if we sign the short sale agreement, our debt will be cleared. We won't owe anything, but we'll have to move." "Where will you go?" I asked. "We don't know. An apartment maybe? Something small?" "Sophia, we're going to lose the house." "I'm sorry, Mom." She hung up, still crying. The closing was scheduled for September 15th, 2024. I took the day off work. Unpaid. Cost me $120 in lost wages. I drove to the title company office in downtown Riverside. Alone. The closing agent, Lawrence Bennett, was in his 50s with reading glasses and a tired smile. He reviewed the paperwork with me. Purchase price, $265,000. Down payment, $13,250. Closing costs, $8,500. Loan amount, $251,750. Monthly payment, $1,380. "Congratulations, Ms. Holden," Lawrence said. "You're now the owner of 127 Oakwood Drive. Your first payment is due November 1st. Will your parents be living with you?" "They don't know I bought it." He looked up from the papers. "I'm sorry?" "They were in foreclosure. I bought it in a short sale. They think the bank sold it to a stranger and their debt was somehow forgiven. Can you not tell them?" "The deed is public record, but we won't proactively contact them. That's your business." I signed 47 times. Initials. Full signatures. The final paper was the warranty deed, recorded at 11:23 a.m., September 15th, 2024. Owner, Sophia Jean Holden. I drove to work straight from the closing. Afternoon shift, 2 to 10 p.m. I changed into my coveralls in the factory locker room, clocked in at 1:58, and spent 8 hours calibrating machinery. Nobody knew I'd just bought a house. Nobody knew I was now $251,000 in debt. My parents called the next day. The bank had sent them notification that the sale was complete and their mortgage was satisfied. My mother was crying again, but this time with relief. "The house is saved," she said. "Some investor bought it and they're letting us rent. $800 a month. We can afford that, Sophia. We were going to be homeless, and now we can stay." "That's good, Mom. I'm happy for you." The new owner is willing to do month-to-month rent. We're meeting someone from the property management company next week to sign the lease. "That's great. It's a miracle," she said. "Our prayers were answered." I didn't correct her. I spent the weekend typing up a rental agreement using a legal Zoom template. I created a fake email account, oakwoodpropertymgmt@gmail.com. I listed the landlord as Oakwood Property Management LLC, a company that didn't exist. Then I asked Kevin from work to help me. Kevin was 42, divorced, worked the same shift rotation as me. We weren't close, but he was decent. I told him I needed someone to pose as a property manager for a family situation. He didn't ask questions. On April 25th, Kevin met my parents at a coffee shop. He had them sign the rental agreement I'd written. $800 rent, due the first of the month-to-month lease. Security deposit waived since they were the previous owners. My father asked who the owner was. Kevin said, "An investor from out of state. They want stable, long-term tenants. Since you maintain the property well, they're willing to rent below market rate. Just pay on time." My parents signed without suspicion. They started paying me $800 a month via Venmo, sent to my Oakwood Property Management account. I transferred it to my personal savings. My mother told her friends at church, "We found a wonderful rental situation. God really does provide." For 14 months, I paid their mortgage without them knowing. Every month. $1,380 out of my checking account. Every month. $800 received from them. Net cost to me, $580 monthly. September 2024. Paid $1,380, received $800. Net, $580 out of pocket. October, same. November, same. December, same. By March 2025, I'd paid $8,280 total, received $4,800 net cost, $34.80. By August 2025, I'd paid $15,180, received $8,800 net, $63.80. By November 2025, the month of Thanksgiving, I'd paid $19,320 total, received $11,200, net out of pocket, $81.20. Plus the $21,750 I'd paid for down payment and closing costs, total invested, $29,870. My savings account, which had $32,000 in March 2024, now had $2,130. Meanwhile, my parents were living in a $420,000 house, paying $800 a month rent, pocketing the $1,540 difference from their old mortgage payment. They spent it freely. New TV in the living room. 65-inch, $880. My mother got a new iPhone 15 Pro, $1,100. My father bought upgraded golf clubs, $650. They ate out 4 to 5 times a week. Ashley lived in the finished basement rent-free, 700 square feet, full bathroom, separate entrance. She treated it like her personal apartment, posting Instagram content from there. Get ready with me in my cozy space. She never paid rent, never offered, never asked where the money came from that kept the lights on and the roof over her head. I visited less and less. In the beginning, I came once a week. By summer 2025, twice a month. By fall, once a month if that. My mother would text, "Come for dinner Sunday, making pot roast." I'd reply, "Can't, working double shift." She'd text back, "You work too much, honey. Take care of yourself." I'd stare at my phone and not respond. In September 2025, I started seeing a therapist. $120 per session, not covered by my factory health insurance. I went twice a month. She asked me why I kept paying for people who didn't acknowledge what I was doing. I said, "Because if I stop, they lose everything." She said, "And when will they learn to carry their own weight?" I didn't have an answer. October came. My parents bought a used fishing boat for my father, $3,200. They had the living room furniture reupholstered, $680. The spending continued. I saw a bank statement on the counter during one visit. Checking account balance, $23.40. Savings, $18.50. Total, $41.90. They had less than 1 month's income saved. For 18 months, they'd had an extra $1,540 per month. That's $27,720 they could have saved. Their savings account had $1,850. They'd saved nothing. And I said nothing. I was too tired to fight. Ashley got engaged in September 2025. Tyler Morrison proposed at a park. Private, sweet, exactly what Ashley wanted for the social media announcement. She immediately launched into wedding planning era on Instagram. Daily posts, dress shopping, venue tours, Pinterest boards, countdown graphics. He said yes. I said yes. Planning the wedding of my dreams. #engaged. #bride-to-be. Venue shopping is so hard when you want perfection. Thinking destination. Mexico? Thoughts? She created a GoFundMe. Goal: $8,000 for wedding expenses. She got $340 in donations from friends before taking it down a week later. One of her friends had commented, "Girl, your parents have that nice house. Can't they help?" Ashley deleted the GoFundMe immediately. On October 15th, there was a family meeting. I wasn't invited. My parents, Ashley and Tyler, sat down to discuss the wedding budget. Tyler's parents were contributing $20,000, a generous amount from a high school principal and a bank teller. Ashley wanted a $75,000 wedding. My mother texted me afterward. "Had a great planning session with Ashley. Tyler's parents are contributing $20,000. So generous. We'll cover the rest. The kids deserve a beautiful start to their marriage." I texted back, "How will you cover $55,000? We're looking into options. The house has equity." "What house?" "Our rental. The house we live in. It's worth a lot. The landlord might be willing to let us access some of that value." I stared at that text for a long time. They didn't own the house. They couldn't access equity. They believed that because they'd lived there for 26 years, they somehow had a claim. I didn't correct her. I wanted to see how far they'd take this delusion. On November 10th, my father contacted a mortgage broker, Nathan Prescott, someone my mother knew from church. He explained the situation. They'd been renting for over a year, but they'd owned the property for 26 years before that. Was there any way to refinance or buy it back? Nathan replied via email, "Donald, to refinance, you'd need to own the property. Since you're renters now, you can't access the equity. However, if the current owner is willing to do a cash-out refinance, they might loan you funds secured against the property. You'd need to approach them through your property management company." My father interpreted this as, "If the owner refinances, we can access the equity." He emailed oakwoodpropertymgmt@gmail.com, my fake email. "We've been excellent tenants for over a year. We'd like to discuss a proposal that would benefit both us and the property owner. Could we schedule a meeting?" I read the email during my lunch break at the factory. I was eating meal-prepped chicken and rice from container number 4 of the week. I wrote back, "The owner will consider your proposal. Please submit details in writing." 3 days later, my father sent a detailed proposal. They wanted the owner to refinance and pull out $75,000 in equity. In exchange, they'd increase their rent from $800 to $1,000 per month, assume all property maintenance, and sign a 5-year lease. The $75,000 would be loaned to them, interest-free, to be repaid at $500 per month over 12 years. I calculated the real math. They wanted me to increase my mortgage by $75,000, raising my payment from $1,380 to roughly $2,180, an $835 monthly increase. They were offering me $700 more in monthly income, from $800 to $1,500 total. I would lose $135 per month for 12 plus years. Total loss, over $19,000, not counting inflation. They thought this was mutually beneficial. On November 15th, my father, impatient, called Nathan the broker again. Nathan said, "Let me pull the title and see who the actual owner is." Nathan pulled the public record. Owner, Sophia Jean Holden. Purchase date, September 15th, 2024. Purchase price, $265,000. He called my father back. "Donald, I pulled the title. The owner is Sophia Holden. Is that your daughter?" Long silence. "That can't be right," my father said. "Sophia works at a factory. She doesn't have money to buy houses. The deed is recorded. Buyer, Sophia Jean Holden. Have you talked to her about this?" My father called me that night. November 16th, 2025. I was heating up leftover stir-fry in my apartment microwave. "Sophia, we need to talk." "Okay." The mortgage broker pulled the title on the house. He says you own it, that you bought it last year. I turned off the microwave. "That's correct." Silence. "Why didn't you tell us?" "Would you have let me help if I'd asked?" More silence. We thought we'd lost everything. Then suddenly we were okay. We thought it was God. It wasn't God. It was me working overtime for 14 months. "So we've been paying you rent this whole time? You've been living in my house?" "Yes." "Sophia, I have to go, Dad. I have an early shift tomorrow." I hung up. They didn't call back for 4 days. When they did, it wasn't to say thank you. It was to uninvite me from Thanksgiving. November 20th, 2025, 6:45 p.m. I was in my apartment, folding laundry on my Murphy bed, which doubled as my couch during the day. My mother called. "Sophia, honey, we need to discuss Thanksgiving." "Okay." "Ashley and Tyler are hosting dinner here. Well, here at the house. Tyler's parents are coming. This is when Tyler's planning to formally propose. He proposed casually in September, but this is the big one. In front of family, with his grandmother's ring. It's a big deal. What time should I come?" Hesitation. "That's what I'm calling about. Ashley has been very stressed about this dinner. She wants everything perfect. Tyler's mother she's particular. About appearances, about family presentation." "Mom, what are you saying?" She handed the phone to my father. "Sophia, be realistic. You work at a factory. You work hard. We know that now, more than ever. But you look like you work hard. The steel-toe boots, the coveralls, the exhaustion. Tyler's family doesn't understand blue-collar work. I can dress up. I have nice clothes. It's not just clothes. It's everything. Your hands, your posture, the way you... Sophia, you're tired all the time. You work rotating shifts. You'll show up straight from work or you'll be half asleep. Tyler's mother will notice. She notices everything." My mother took the phone back. "Ashley needs this dinner to be perfect. The photos, the atmosphere, the family dynamic. She's worked so hard on planning. She deserves one perfect evening where everything goes right. And I'll ruin it by existing? Don't be dramatic. We're just asking you to sit this one out. One dinner. You can come to Christmas? Just family. I am family. You know what we mean. Tyler's family doesn't know you. You've never met them. It's easier if they don't know I exist. If they meet the core family first, then later, we'll introduce you. When it's not so high pressure." That's when my father said the line that changed everything. "You've always been the heavy one in this family, Sophia. Don't ruin this for Ashley." Heavy. The word sat in my chest like a stone. "So I should stay home." "That's the best gift you can give your sister," my mother said. "Just this once. Let her have one perfect family moment." I looked around my apartment. 450 square feet. Murphy bed folded against the wall. Hot plate next to the mini fridge. one window facing a brick wall. I understand, I said. And I hung up. I didn't cry. I made dinner. Leftover rice and chicken from meal prep. I opened my laptop and made my November mortgage payment on 127 Oakwood Drive. $1,380. Payment successful. Remaining balance, $247,700. I paid the mortgage on the house I wasn't welcome in. November 27th, 2025. Thanksgiving Day. I worked the morning shift at the factory. 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Holiday pay. $420 for 8 hours instead of my usual $210. I took it. I always took holiday shifts. The factory floor was almost empty. Just 5 of us on skeleton crew, keeping the production line maintained so it'd be ready for Black Friday startup. Kevin was there too. At noon, during lunch break, he handed me a Tupperware container. "My sister sent this," he said. "Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, pie. She made me promise I'd give it to you. She said nobody should eat convenience store sandwiches on Thanksgiving." I looked at the container. There was a note taped to the lid in neat handwriting. "Happy Thanksgiving from the Henderson family. We don't know you, but Kevin says you're good people. Good people deserve real Thanksgiving dinner. Brenda." Something in my chest cracked a little. "Thank you," I said. "She's a mom," Kevin said. "Can't help herself. Merry Thanksgiving or whatever." I clocked out at 2:08 p.m., drove home, microwaved Brenda Henderson's turkey. It was the best thing I'd tasted in months. At 7:30 p.m., I opened Instagram. Ashley's story had 15 slides. 1. Thanksgiving ready. Table setting in my dining room. 2. Family is everything. Boomerang of my parents arriving. 3. Meeting the in-laws. Tyler's parents entering. 4. Video. Tyler on one knee again. Ashley crying, everyone clapping. 5. Ring close-up. It was his grandmother's #family heirloom. 6. Group photo. Donald, Patricia, Ashley, Tyler, and Tyler's parents. Jack and Carol Morrison, both smiling 7. Caption. So grateful for my amazing family who made tonight perfect. Mom and Dad, thank you for everything. This house, these memories, this love. #blessed #family. First, #engaged. I zoomed in on slide 7. You could see the edge of the kitchen counter in the background. On it, partially visible, was an envelope. I zoomed further. It was my mortgage statement. The one I'd left on the counter last time I visited. You could just barely make out the number. $1,380. I screenshot it. Saved it to a folder on my phone labeled Receipts. Then I opened my banking app and confirmed. Rent payment received from Donald Holden via Venmo. $800. I ate the rest of Brenda Henderson's turkey. I watched the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade replay on my 32-inch TV that I'd bought used for $120 3 years ago. And I made a decision. I wasn't going to keep saving them in secret anymore. November 28th, 2025. Black Friday. I worked my regular shift. At 9:15 p.m., as I was clocking out, I got a text from Ashley. "Hey, can you Venmo me $800? Saw the perfect wedding planning binder system at Anthropology plus some organization stuff. Mom and Dad are tapped from hosting Thanksgiving. I'll pay you back when we get wedding gifts LOL." I stared at that text for 5 full minutes. This was Ashley's first contact with me in 2 weeks. Not, "Sorry you couldn't come to Thanksgiving." Not, "Wish you were there." Just, "Give me $800. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my notes app and wrote, "Times Ashley asked for money, past 6 months. 7. Total requested, $3,850. Amount repaid, $0. Times Ashley asked how I'm doing. 0. The next morning, November 29th, I opened my fake property management email account. There was a message from my father sent November 28th at 11:43 p.m. Dear Oakwood Property Management, we hope you'll reconsider our proposal for refinancing. Our daughter is getting married and we'd like to help make her dreams come true. We've been model tenants and would be willing to negotiate terms. Please advise. Donald Holden. I wrote back. The owner is willing to discuss this proposal in person. Appointment scheduled December 2nd, 2 p.m. at Nathan Prescott's office, Riverside Mortgage Solutions. All involved parties must attend. I called Nathan separately and explained. I'm the owner. My parents don't know I'll be at the meeting. Please proceed as if you're consulting with potential refinance applicants. I'll arrive separately and clarify ownership when appropriate. Nathan said, Sophia, I understand. I'll treat this as a standard consultation. The truth will come out naturally when I pull the title documentation. See you Monday at 2 p.m. On December 1st, my mother called. Sophia? Hi, we have a meeting tomorrow with the mortgage broker about the house refinance proposal. We'd like you to be there. Why? Because, well, we told him you bought the house. He says you'd need to be involved in any refinance discussion since you're the owner. So we're all meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. at his office in Riverside. I know. I scheduled it. Oh, good. So we can discuss the proposal together. As a family? Sure. As a family. That afternoon, Ashley texted, Mom said you're coming to the meeting tomorrow. Yay! So glad you can help with the wedding fund. Tyler and I are so grateful. You're the best big sis ever. I responded, See you tomorrow. She wrote back, Can't wait. Tyler's parents might come too. They want to understand the financial setup. This is so exciting. Tyler's parents, Carol Morrison, bank teller with 25 years experience. She'd understand mortgages, equity, liens. She'd recognize immediately what my parents were asking for. Good. I spent the evening preparing documents. Purchase agreement from September 15th, 2024. Mortgage statement showing balance $247,700. Payment history, 14 months, all on time. Venmo receipts from parents, $800 per month times 14 equals $11,200. Spreadsheet showing actual costs, $19,320 paid, $11,200 received, $8,120 net out of pocket. I put everything in a manila folder labeled 127 Oakwood Drive, Property Records. I set my alarm for 11:30 a.m. The meeting was at 2 p.m., 30-minute drive. I wanted to arrive after everyone else. December 2nd, 2025, 11:45 a.m. I left the factory at 11:30. Half-day approved, 4 hours unpaid time off. Cost, $120 in lost wages. I drove to the gas station near Nathan's office, changed in the bathroom, removed my factory polo, put on a clean black blouse I kept in my car for occasions like this. Washed my hands thoroughly. The grease stains in my nail beds never fully came out, but I got them as clean as possible. Nathan Prescott's office was in a strip mall, Riverside Mortgage Solutions, wedged between a Subway and a State Farm Insurance office. I arrived at 1:55 p.m. and sat in my car. At 1:57, I watched my parents pull up in their 2020 Ford sedan. Ashley and Tyler got out next. Behind them, another car, a newer Lexus. Tyler's parents, Jack and Carol Morrison. Carol was in her early 50s, wearing professional attire, carrying a small notebook. Her body language was tense. She stood with her arms crossed as the group talked in the parking lot before entering the building. I waited until 2:03 p.m., let them get settled. Let them start the conversation without me. At 2:06 p.m., I got out of my car, grabbed my manila folder, and walked to the office entrance. The bell above the door chimed as I entered. Everyone turned to look at me. The conference room was small, 8-person table, cheap wood laminate. Nathan sat at the head with his laptop and an external monitor. My parents sat side by side, Ashley and Tyler next to each other. Jack and Carol Morrison sat slightly apart, observing. There was one empty chair. "Sophia," Ashley said, smiling, "you made it." My mother looked relieved. "Oh, good. Now we can start." I sat down across from Carol Morrison. Her eyes took me in. Clean blouse. Not expensive. Jeans. Not slacks. Minimal makeup. Hands clean but calloused. Work-worn. I could feel her assessment. I looked exactly like what my parents had been ashamed of on Thanksgiving. Nathan cleared his throat. "Thank you all for coming. Let's discuss the refinance proposal for 127 Oakwood Drive. Donald and Patricia have submitted a request for a cash-out refinance of $75,000. He pulled up a document on his screen. "Let me just verify the current mortgage balance. Ms. Holden, you're the current owner. Do you have the exact balance?" $247,700, I said. "As of December 1st, Nathan typed. "So approximately $172,000 in equity based on the appraised value of $420,000. Donald and Patricia are proposing to access $75,000 of that equity." My father stood. He'd prepared a speech. "Thank you, Nathan, and thank you, Sophia, for being here. This proposal benefits everyone. We've been excellent tenants for over a year." Carol Morrison interrupted. "Tenants of your daughter?" My father faltered. "Well, yes. After our financial difficulty in 2024, Sophia purchased the home." "So your daughter, who works at an automotive factory, bought your house to save you from foreclosure?" "We didn't ask her to." "I'm aware," Carol said coldly. "Please continue." My father looked shaken but continued. "As I was saying, this proposal is mutually beneficial. Sophia gets increased rent from $800 to $1,000 monthly. We assume all maintenance costs. We commit to a 5-year lease. In exchange, she refinances to access $75,000 in equity, which she loans to us interest-free, to be repaid at $500 per month over 12 years. Carol pulled out her notebook. Her pen moved quickly. She looked up. "That's $6,000 annually. $75,000 divided by 6,000 is 12.5 years. You're asking your daughter for a 12.5-year interest-free loan?" "Family doesn't charge family interest," my father said. Carol turned to me. "What's your current mortgage payment?" $1,380. "And if you refinance for an additional $75,000, what would the new payment be?" Nathan pulled up the calculator on his screen. "Current rates are around 6.8% for cash-out refinances. New loan amount would be roughly $322,700. New payment, approximately $2,180. Carol wrote more numbers. "So your payment increases $835 per month. They're offering you $700 in additional monthly income. You'd be losing $135 per month for over 12 years. She looked up at my parents. "That's $19,440 in losses, not counting time value of money." My mother looked uncomfortable. "This is family business." "I'm here because my son is marrying into this family," Carol said. "This is now my business." Nathan tried to move things along. "Let's look at the property records to clarify the ownership structure." He turned his monitor to face the group. County Assessor website, he typed, 127 Oakwood Drive, Maple Grove, Ohio, 43050. The screen populated, property owner, Sophia Jean Holden. Purchase date, September 15th, 2024. Purchase price, $265,000. Current assessed value, $418,500. Mortgage, conventional loan, original amount $251,750. Current balance $247,700. Nathan clicked, full title history. 2024 to present. Sophia Jean Holden. 1998 to 2024. Donald R. Holden and Patricia L. Holden. 2024. Foreclosure proceedings initiated March 15th. 2024. Short sale completed September 15th. Silence. Jack Morrison leaned forward. So Sophia bought the house in a short sale to prevent foreclosure. Correct, Nathan said. How much did Donald and Patricia owe at that time? Nathan checked his notes. Outstanding mortgage debt was approximately $268,000, plus $18,720 in arrears, plus legal fees. Total roughly $290,000. The short sale at $265,000 satisfied the debt through bank forgiveness. Carol looked at my parents. You were $30,000 underwater and 8 months behind. You were going to lose everything. My mother's voice was small. We were trying to work it out with the bank. The bank doesn't work things out when you're 8 months delinquent, Carol said. They foreclose, which they were doing, until Sophia stepped in. Ashley looked confused. Why didn't you tell me about any of this? I looked at her. You never asked. Tyler turned to Ashley. You said your family owned the house. I thought we did. Your sister owns it, Carol said flatly. And you live there rent-free, while she pays a $1,380 mortgage. Ashley's face went red. I didn't know. You didn't ask, I repeated. My father tried to regain control. This is getting off track. The point is, we're here to discuss a mutually beneficial— There's nothing mutual about it, Carol interrupted. Your daughter works at a factory. She lives in a garage apartment. She drives a 15-year-old car. And you're asking her to go another $75,000 in debt so your other daughter can have a destination wedding in Mexico. Ashley started crying. It's not just for me, she said. It's for our future, Tyler and I. Tyler and I will have a wedding we can afford, Carol said. Not a wedding funded by his fiancé's sister who already saved her parents from homelessness. Tyler looked at the table. He wouldn't meet Ashley's eyes. My mother turned to me. Sophia, please. You're making this sound worse than it is. Am I? I opened my manila folder, slid papers across the table. This is what I've paid, I said. 14 months of mortgage statements. Every single payment, $1,380. 14 times. That's $19,320. I slid more papers. These are the Venmo receipts from you. $800 a month, 14 months, $11,200. One more paper. This is the spreadsheet. $19,320 paid, $11,200 received. Net out of pocket, $81.20. I looked at them. That doesn't include the $21,750 I paid for down payment and closing costs. Total invested, $29,870 from my savings, from factory overtime, from working double shifts and holidays. Patricia whispered, We didn't know you were paying so much. You didn't ask, I said for the third time. For 14 months, you thought you got lucky. You pocketed the difference between your old mortgage and your rent. $1,540 a month. That's $21,560 you could have saved. How much is in your savings account, Mom? She didn't answer. $1,850, I said. I saw the statement. You saved nothing, but you bought a new TV, new furniture, Dad's golf clubs, a boat. Ashley was sobbing now. Tyler had his arm around her, but he looked uncomfortable. Nathan tried to redirect. Miss Holden, regarding the refinance proposal, what is your decision? I stood. I'm declining to go into debt to fund a wedding for a family that's ashamed of me. Sophia, please, my mother said. We were never ashamed. You told me to stay home from Thanksgiving because I look like I work hard. I look this way because I work hard for you. I've worked extra shifts for 14 months to pay that mortgage. My hands have grease stains because I'm building your stability. And you excluded me because the evidence of that work was embarrassing. I turned to Nathan. No refinance. Current arrangement continues. They pay $800 monthly. I pay the mortgage. If they can't accept those terms, they can find other housing. My father stood. You can't just. I can, I said. It's my house. To my parents. You have a choice. Keep living in my house at $800 a month, which is $1,300 below market rate, and be grateful. Or move out, and I'll rent it to someone who doesn't hide me from holiday dinners. To Ashley. Fund your own wedding, get a full-time job, figure it out like everyone else. To Carol and Jack. I apologize that you had to witness this, but I'm glad you did. At least someone else knows the truth now. I picked up my folder and walked to the door. I turned back. I'll be home for Christmas if I'm actually invited, not if I'm just tolerated. The bell chimed as I left. I sat in my car for 10 minutes before I could drive. My hands were shaking. Inside the office, I learned this later from Tyler, Carol Morrison stood. You should be ashamed of yourselves, she said to my parents. You don't understand, Patricia began. I understand that your daughter makes $82,000 a year working rotating shifts, lives in a 450-square-foot apartment, and pays your mortgage while you buy boats and golf clubs. I understand you asked her to skip Thanksgiving because she embarrasses you. And I understand you just tried to pressure her into going $322,000 in debt for a wedding. She turned to Tyler. Son, we need to talk. Outside. Ashley grabbed Tyler's arm. Tyler, wait! Why didn't you tell me any of this? He asked her quietly. I didn't know. I swear, you live rent-free in her house, and you never asked how that was possible? Carol was already at the door. Tyler. Now. They left. Ashley ran after them, but they drove away. Ashley called Tyler 15 times that day. He didn't answer until the next morning. When he finally called back, he said, We need to take a break. My parents won't support the wedding until your family fixes things. And honestly, Ashley, I need to think about whether I want to marry into a family with these values. Ashley called me, hysterical. Sophia, Tyler broke up with me. His parents won't support the wedding. You ruined my engagement. No, I said. Mom and Dad ruined it by treating me like I was disposable. And you ruined it by assuming I'd bankroll your wedding without ever asking if I could afford it. I didn't know you were struggling. I wasn't struggling. I was sacrificing. There's a difference. And you would have known if you'd ever asked about my life instead of just asking for money. She hung up on me. For 5 days, I heard nothing from anyone. On December 8th, my father texted, We need to talk. I didn't respond for 24 hours. Finally, I wrote back, I'm listening. He called. Your mother and I have been talking. We owe you an apology. For which part? For all of it. For not acknowledging what you did. For Thanksgiving. For the meeting. For taking you for granted. Did Carol Morrison tell you to call me? Silence. Then. She told Tyler that if he marries Ashley, we need to repair this, that it reflects poorly on the family. So you're apologizing because Tyler's mom told you to. No, I'm apologizing because she was right. We've been terrible to you, and I didn't see it until she pointed it out. That's honest, at least. The call lasted 18 minutes. My mother got on, cried, apologized. I didn't accept or reject the apology. I just said, I need time. On December 20th, my mother called again. Will you come for Christmas? Is it a real invitation or a tolerated presence? Sophia, it's a real invitation. I want you here. Dad wants you here. This is your home too. It's not my home, I said. It's my house. My home is the garage apartment. Long pause. You're right. It's your house, but can it be our home together? For Christmas? I'll think about it. On December 23rd, I texted, I'll come for Christmas dinner. 2 to 5 p.m. I'm not staying overnight. And if anyone makes a comment about my appearance or my job, I'm leaving. My mother replied, Understood. Thank you. Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025. I arrived at 2 p.m. sharp, wearing the same clean blouse from the broker meeting. I brought store-bought cookies from Walmart. No pretense. Dinner was awkward, but civil. Present. Me, Donald, Patricia, Ashley. Tyler was spending the holiday with his parents. We didn't exchange gifts. Mutual understanding. My mother served ham. She started to make my plate, an old control habit. I took the plate from her, scraped half the food back into the serving dish, served myself what I actually wanted. She said nothing. My father mentioned property taxes. There's $3,200 due in January. We should talk about how... He caught himself. I mean, what's the process for paying those as the owner? I'll handle it, I said. They're my responsibility. He nodded, dropped it. Ashley was mostly silent. Toward the end of dinner, she said quietly, Tyler and I are back together. We're doing a courthouse wedding, March 15th. His parents' suggestion. Congratulations, I said. It's not the wedding I wanted, but it's the wedding you can afford. She teared up, nodded. At 5 p.m., I stood and put on my coat. You're leaving already? My mother asked. I said 2 to 5. It's 5. Will you come back? For dinner sometime? Maybe, if I'm invited. Actually invited. You're always invited. Then ask me. Don't assume. Ask. I drove back to my apartment, microwaved leftover Chinese food, watched a Christmas movie alone. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. My name is Sophia Holden. I'm 34 years old. It's April now. Late April. 5 months since the broker's office. 4 months since Christmas. My parents still live at 127 Oakwood Drive. They still pay $800 rent every month. They haven't been late once. We have dinner together once a month. I'm always invited explicitly. I usually stay for 2 hours then leave. It's not warm. It's not like families in movies. But it's respectful. Last week my mother said, I'm proud of you, Sophia, for standing up for yourself. I'm sorry it took so long for me to see what you'd done for us. I said, Thank you. She asked, Will you ever forgive us? I said, I'm working on it. And I am. In therapy. Twice a month. Learning that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Learning that boundaries aren't punishment. Learning that the people who love you shouldn't ask you to disappear. Ashley married Tyler on March 15th. Courthouse ceremony. 30 guests. Budget $3,500 total. She got a job in February. Marketing coordinator at a nonprofit. $38,000 a year. She moved in with Tyler. Rents an apartment for $1,100 a month. Pays her own bills. She asked me to be a witness at the courthouse. I said yes. Tyler's parents are civil to my parents now, but distant. They come to family events for Tyler, not for Donald and Patricia. Carol Morrison texts me sometimes. How are you doing? She asks. She's the first person besides Kevin at the factory who's ever asked that question regularly. Kevin and I are dating now, actually. Have been since January. He asked me to move in with him. His apartment is 900 square feet. 2 bedrooms. An actual kitchen. Windows that face trees instead of brick walls. I said yes. We're moving in together in June. I'm keeping the garage apartment until July, though. Just in case. Old habits die hard. My parents will keep living in the house I saved them from losing. I'll keep making the mortgage payments, now covered by their rent plus $580 from my income. But it's an investment now, not a sacrifice. A choice, not an obligation. Last month, we formalized everything. I put the house in a trust with a lawyer's help. When I die, it goes to my parents and Ashley equally. But while I'm alive, I own it completely. They pay $1,200 a month now. Market rate for 2 bedrooms would be $1,900, so they're still getting a deal. I use that $1,200 plus $180 of my own to cover the mortgage payment. No more out-of-pocket loss. It's in writing. Legal. Clear. My father asked, "Can we ever buy it back?" I said, "On your income? No." My mother asked, "So we're really just tenants?" I said, "Your family. Who happened to rent from me? With boundaries." We signed the papers April 28th. Outside the lawyer's office, my mother said, "Thank you for not kicking us out." I said, "I'm not mean. I'm just not invisible anymore. I don't know if we'll ever be close again. The kind of close where family means I'd do anything for you. Because I did everything for them. And they didn't see me until I made them look. But we're family in a different way now. The way where I own a house, and they rent it. The way where I show up for monthly dinners and leave after 2 hours. The way where "I love you" is followed by boundaries instead of blank checks. Maybe that's enough. Maybe enough is all family ever really is once you stop pretending. I still work at the factory. I still wear steel-toe Red Wing boots. My hands still have grease stains that never fully wash out. I make $83,000 a year now. Got a small raise in February. But now when people ask me what I do, I say, I'm a maintenance technician. I own a rental property. I'm building a life that's mine. And that's the truth. All of it. For the first time in 14 months, I don't have to hide any of it. 3 weeks ago, I was walking through the factory floor during shift change. One of the new engineers, young